Hello, welcome back. Fred in the Shed one. Bit of a radio electronic kind of video today. On the bench here is the CRT SS, which stands for Superstar, by the way. Superstar 9900. This is probably my sort of favourite radio, to be honest. It's the one that I use the most. To me, I know some people don't like it. I've done a lot of videos on this radio. I think the radio is very good value for money. I tested it recently and put out, well, over 100 watts on sideband, which is incredible. It does get rather hot, and that is one of its downsides. However, I've been having a few issues with the radio recently. You would have seen that when I was using it, I had a high SWR warning. That turned out to be my antenna. We're not sure if it was the plug that had failed or the antenna itself. At the moment it's all working. I'll keep you updated on that, and that's something entirely different. So today what's been happening with this is, originally I had a problem with the power lead. The power lead's quite long on the Superstar 9900 and the Enetone 6666. It's the same radio. Basically you get 3 fuses. You get normal sort of 2 fuses there in the return and the positive, and then you get a separate fuse close to the radio there, which is also in the positive. Then you get a connector which was about here, and you get sort of like a double spade connector. Then you get a load more kind of sort of power lead, so it's quite long. I suppose this would be if you wanted to wire it into your car battery, because obviously it is a mobile radio. Now what was happening, this was before Christmas, I started to get a low power warning on the radio, but the radio just kept cutting out. One minute you were sort of keying up, and then the radio, all the display would go off. When it came back on, it had low power. It shouldn't really be the transformer. The PCU unit is 615, 16 amp. It's been fine. And the way it was just cutting out and cutting back on, it was almost like a short. So I immediately checked the lead, and I found that this connector, this double spade connector, this was getting quite warm. Couldn't see that anything was loose for no apparent reason. I took it all apart, had a look at it, put it back. But I did notice, especially on the sort of, when this was running at near full power on sideband, this was heating up. So I decided to remove that from the power lead because it was way too long anyway. I wasn't planning on using this radio mobile. So I removed the sort of plug connector from the equation, and yeah, it's been absolutely fine. And then again, just after Christmas, there or thereabouts, I think maybe when I was doing those power and amps test videos, so it's just before Christmas, it started acting up again. This time the lead wasn't getting hot, that I could tell, but we were getting, every now and then it was cutting out, and when the radio come back on, it had a low power warning on the display. So I suspect there might be something wrong with the lead here. You've got these inline fuses, so I need to check. I think I've replaced these. I think they're 20 amp. I need to check, but I just want to. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to got the continuity meter, which is sort of over here, and what I'm going to do is just go along the power lead, step by step, test the continuity, test it on the fuse holders, all 3 of them, and then see if I can detect anywhere where there might be a break. Definitely something to do with the power lead. I mean, the connection should be okay. I've got a couple of soldered on sort of spade connectors there because they fit into my sort of power supply, and this has all been sort of soldered, and yeah, I mean, you'll find out when I put the meter on these, but I think these are okay. So yeah, I thought I'd bring you along for the ride. Something video, it might help people that are starting out maybe in radio, and all you need really is a basic multimeter with a sort of a continuity test. I mean, it's probably one of the best tools you can ever have, just to let you know whether you've got a short on the sort of cable or not. Okay, that's what we're going to be doing today, and I'll crack on with it. So first thing I want to check is just the wire here from the sort of fuse holder to the little spade connector that I've put. I'm not a great lover of these inline fuse holders, to be honest, the ones that sort of use these kind of cylinder type. I do prefer the spade fuses as well. But you know, this is what it comes with. I have replaced these two fuses, by the way. Once when I felt that the cable was getting hot, I put in sort of new radio fuses. Right, let's have a look. Let's do the positive one. That seems okay. That seems okay. So doesn't seem to be any sort of break there. You know, the fuses seem pretty tight, to be honest. The soldering looks, well, I think it's crimped, but it looks okay. Okay, going to move on down the lead, and I'm going to test the third fuse holder there in the sort of positive lead. So same as before, I'm going to start, I might as well just start from the end, I suppose, just to check we've got continuity. Which we haven't, or have we? Okay, oh actually, might be my stupidity, maybe I think I might have been on the wrong wire. Yeah, I was, okay. Yeah, no problem there. An absolutely rather annoying buzz, isn't it? Especially if you're listening, if you're on headphones. I do apologise. Again, you know, I did replace this fuse with a new radio fuse. Yeah, I have replaced them, so I'm pretty sure it's not the fuse. And I think I upgraded these to 20 amp. I've got some new fuses in from Radio World, and put in 20 amp. I'll just have a quick look. Right, okay, I just checked now. They're 15 amp fuses, so I think that's possibly what came with the radio. So I just replaced like for like. Yeah, I mean, it should be okay. I think we did the amps and watts test. It wasn't drawing much over that. I might consider maybe going up a little bit. I don't know if you can get 17s. A bit, I suppose, really, when you think about it, if it came with 15s, if I put 20s in and there is a slight short somewhere, it's going to draw too much sort of current. I would sooner a fuse blow than, you know, something melt in the radio. But I haven't had a fuse go, even though I've had these issues. The fuse hasn't gone, so in theory it hasn't drawn more than 15 amps, which doesn't sort of sound like a direct short. That sounds more like a break somewhere in the wire. So, you know, I think for what it is, I think the lead, the actual sort of powered lead itself, I'm pretty confident with my sort of connections there. So yeah, I think the lead itself is okay. So I think the next thing to have a look at is possibly going to be where it goes into the back of the radio there. It's not a plug, it is hardwired on the 9900. I think the 6900 is a power plug. This one, unfortunately, is hardwired. Now, I did have an issue before. I think that's where I lost the audio. I did a couple of videos on that. Basically, the radio was yanked off of the arm of the sofa, and I lost the audio, which turned out, I think, to be that. I think that was the problem. Maybe the power lead got pulled. Does feel a little tiny bit of play in there, so maybe it's worth having a look at the soldering inside there on the board. So I think that's the next thing. I think we're going to sort of take the back cover off, and then we'll have a look inside and see if we can see any damage. Now, incidentally, it's worth pointing out, if you have a new radio, you'll have a sort of warranty void sticker that's normally on the back here. If you do open your radio, you will break that sticker, and you will void your warranty for the first sort of 12 months. I've been inside mine before anyway, when I had a look at the problem when it went on the floor. So there we go. Just going to carefully take the top cover. You've got the speaker, of course. There is a little tiny sort of connector there that's on the board, but not really planning to go that deep into the radio at this particular stage. Right, let me get the camera in a better position so we can see what's going on. Right, okay, so here we go. Here's the power lead that comes sort of through the case there, and unfortunately goes directly down straight through the board, and is soldered on the other side. So yeah, I'm going to probably have to take the other cover off just to check the soldering, but it does seem, it seems quite secure. It's got this sort of tension restrictor here and this is sealed with like a hard silicone. So yeah, you know, to be honest, I think that would probably take a yank without any problems. But anyway, we're going to have to go a little bit deeper in here then, so I need to put the other side off, and I'll probably have to disconnect the speaker for that. But okay, let's pop the other side off and have a look at the connectors. Okay, here we go. This is where the sort of wires come through onto the main board. You can sort of see the main power tracks here in the sort of slightly raised sort of like buzz bars, if you like. Going to zoom in on that because there does seem to be a little bit of oxidization or something on the board, so just let me zoom in. So zoomed in here, and there is a little sort of like a whitish deposit here around the, so this is the original soldering, by the way. I've not touched it, but it does have this sort of white scum, if you like, on the board. It might just be flux when they did the soldering in the factory, when they put the, because obviously this would all be sort of flowed, and then I imagine the power lead would be put through afterwards and hand soldered across to this sort of buzz bar. I might just see if I can get a little bit of alcohol there and just maybe sort of see if I can clean that up a little bit. I don't think that would be shorting, though. I mean, it isn't, certainly there's no dry joints. The solder seems fine. I'm not going to try and reflow that. I'm just going to leave it. Yeah, I think it's just a little bit of scum that was left over when they did it in the factory, maybe. But anyway, yeah, I'm just going to sort of try and see if I can sort of give that a little bit of clean up whilst I've got it in this state. Alright, just going to use a little bit of alcohol there, just on a cotton wool bud. And yeah, that's coming off. I think it's just a little bit of flux residue, where they might have been just a little bit over generous with the flux. And yeah, that's come off, so I don't think that's anything to worry about. Yeah, that's cleaned up quite nicely. And okay, so no, nothing conclusive. I can't see anything really amiss. I'll just do a continuity test just to make sure that those joints are okay. Yep, that's the positive bus bar, if you like, if you want to call it that. Then we'll just do the negative. So yeah, you know, it's not very conclusive, is it? I was hoping that I might be able to find something quite loose. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. So yeah, I was hoping to find something that would have been a bit loose there, that just would have been a resolder job. So it had hit the floor once, which did cause a problem with the audio. I think that might have just dislodged the speaker. I'll have to go back and look at my own videos. I don't watch them. Once I put them up, I don't watch them again. You guys watch them more than I do. Right, so that's everything back together. The radio's working. And you know, just playing about with the leads, can't really replicate the problem. Bit annoying, isn't it? Right, I just had a thought, you know, on the power supply here, and when I did the amp, the volt, the watts and amps sort of videos, I had these completely wide apart, and then when I put these back in, I started using that socket, and I've just put them back to their original position, and the radio is completely dead. And if I wiggle that wire, there you go, there it is. Off, on. So something has become adrift in the socket there. So it's the power supply. So I need to get inside and have a quick look, find out what's happened with that. I mean, that one works absolutely fine, so I can always just carry on using that. But of course, I want to sort it out now. Now I've found it. So there you go, switched itself off. That's exactly what was happening. So stand by, and we're going to have a look inside the power supply. Right, so here we are inside. I mean, I think these are quite good quality. These power supplies aren't really designed for CB radio. There's a switch mode supplies. They were from, I believe, a computer network racking system. and came up on eBay. They were there was a whole stack of these. They were £15 each delivered, so I bought 2 of them, 15 amp supplies. And you know, looking inside, big dumbass like capacitor there, seemed reasonably sort of good quality. So right, that's my problem, sort of down there. So this was me putting a switch in there. So I think I just need to switch it on very, very carefully and just sort of wiggle that around and see if we can see where it's sort of shorting or maybe broken. Right, see if we can replicate it. Turn away. Typically it won't do it now. That's weird, isn't it? So that's a little strange. There must be a short there. There you go. Got it. Got it. I can see a very small spark. There you go. Can you see that? That's only drawing about half an amp. If that was full power. So, right. Okay. So that's the problem. Some things come adrift on that board. Now the question is, how do I get into that? This doesn't look like it's designed to be easily separated. That board doesn't look separated from the aluminium casework. It looks like it's been sort of bent over there slightly. You can't see any mounting screws, but anyway, I'm going to switch it off and let that capacitor discharge, because that's quite a juicy capacitor there. So I think I need to give that. I can't even get to the back to short it, so I think I need to give that capacitor a fair bit of time there just to discharge before I start playing around. I'll see if I can get in underneath there and see if we can have a look. Maybe there's something I can solder. Well, this power supply unit is a real pain. It's quite obviously not designed to come apart once it's been constructed. I mean, there was a couple little tabs here you have to physically sort of bend away, and that sort of loosens up the board in the case. But obviously you've got these sort of connectors protrude through the front of the case, so it has to be sort of lifted, tilted at the back, and then pulled out. Undid one bolt there, which seemed to be okay, but then you've got one of these sort of use only once kind of electrical connections plugs here that you can sometimes squeeze them with a pair of pliers, which I did try, and they come out, but that one doesn't want to sort of come out. And then to make things worse, I don't know if you can sort of see, but in there's like a stud, like a rivet if you like, that appears to be screwed into the bottom of the case there, and really there's no way of getting anything in there to turn it. So I mean, I'm going to end up, sort of breaking it really. If I want to really, I would like to sort of get inside and have a go at resoldering that, but no, it's going to end up sort of breaking it. And as it works on the other terminal there, I just have to sort of for now, use those. Yeah, that's pretty much all I can do. It's a bit disappointing really. So I'm sure all it needs is a blob of solder, but it's gonna cause damage to get inside it, certainly with this and that stud. So that's as far as we're going to be able to go with this one. Just need to put it all back together, I think, and at least I found the fault. I mean, the main thing is that the fault is not the radio itself. That was the main concern, that my radio wasn't on its way out. So it is just the power supply. There you go, it sort of locks that down. Yeah, it's just the power supply, which is say, these are only cheap anyway, and so they're only 15 amps, so it's not as if they're sort of massively powerful. Quite useful. So there you go. I was hoping to show you a proper repair. I didn't really want to get involved with the power supply. I just wanted to sort of check the radio over, but unfortunately, not really able to show you that sort of fully repaired. So there you go, bit of a sort of a mixed bag really, but I'll put it up anyway, just for the amusement factor. I'm sure you got 1 or 2 comments on my electrical skills that you'd like to share with me. Yeah, okay. Anyway, as for now, as always, of course, cheers. Thanks for tuning in to Fred in the Shed 1. There'll be more videos on the way soon, all sort of different types of things, gadgets and audio stuff and stuff like that. But anyway, as for now, cheers, thanks for watching. Usual thing, subscribe, bell notification, thumbs up for me, all that. And yeah, cheers, thanks a lot. Catch you later on the next one. Stay safe, look after yourselves, and catch you later.